What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Sorry I'm late this week. Normally I try to get a video up on Monday or Tuesday. The freaking 4th threw me off, man. Thumbs up this video if holidays do nothing for you besides throw off your freaking schedule. I'm just kidding. I like to spend time with family and all that. But subscribe if you are new. Like the video if it does help you out. If you do like the video, and let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about a question that I get often, and I don't fucking like this question, and you're going to find out why. But that is, and I've been getting this often, is how did you get POTS syndrome? And here's the thing, guys. I'm going to tell you in a little bit how I think I got POTS syndrome, but let me address this first. I don't exactly know how I got POTS syndrome. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. And to be quite frank with you, I don't give a fuck about how or why I got POTS syndrome and I don't think that you should either. And here's why. Because regardless of how you got it, the problem still remains the same. You have it. So it seems to be a common trend with people who have POTS syndrome, and I'm trying to be sympathetic and empathetic here, because I went through this, so I understand the anxieties and I understand, the things that are going on in your head. But it seems to be a common trend that the thinking of people with POTS is very anxious, and it's all doomsday, right? It's very doomsday. As far as I know, nobody's died from POTS so far. As far as I know, it doesn't really matter how you got POTS. The treatment and the way that you handle things is still the same. Unless you're one of those people that thinks okay, there's three main ways that they theorize people get POTS, right? Number one, and the least popular, is the catecholamine theory. Number two is the autoimmune theory. And number three is the viral theory, right? Only one of those seems to be something that you might be able to take immediate action on in general, and that's the autoimmune one, right? And it's just a theory. It's not even proven that that's a thing. So regardless of that, right, whether or not you know how you got POTS is kind of irrelevant, because you still just have to do the things that will help you in everyday POTS living, right? So things like being hydrated, getting enough sodium, because that adds to the hydration. You have to look at the research behind sodium. Do things like zone 2 cardio and do it in a progressive manner, right? If you need help with that, hit me up on Instagram, JQ Fit Life, and we can talk about coaching, because I've been helping a lot of people with POTS kind of try to figure out how to get over it the way that I did. And I'm just giving my best advice, right? I'm not a doctor. So I don't think that you should be concerned with how or why you got POTS. I think you should be more concerned with putting that energy and that anxiety into something positive and trying to fix it rather than dwelling on, woe is me, this happened to me. No, fix it. Use that negative energy and turn it into something good and positive. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, here's how I think I may have got POTS. Again, I have no idea. This just makes sense to me due to what I know about physiology and how the body works and stuff. I won't take long to say this. Maybe I will. But growing up, I was a competitive powerlifter. I did competitive strongman. I did bodybuilding. So I was in strength sport for a very long time. Now I'm in CrossFit. And to keep a long story short, right, with all those sports, everything is revved up to 1,000 all the time. So it's central nervous system fatigue like crazy. You're just revving up. You have to lift heavy weights. You have to diet. I had to make weight classes. I had to dehydrate myself for weight classes. Strongman is super, super intensive and just very it's very intense, So, and I competed in that for a while and trained that for a while. And we didn't have the same information that we have now about periodization. How do you actually set up a proper protocol? And then what do you do about recovery? How important is sleep? What about ice baths, sauna, stuff like that? We didn't have any of that information when I was younger, right? And when you get into the powerlifting where you have to jump weight classes or cut really heavy to make weight classes. I remember one time I cut weight so bad that I thought my appendix was exploding, and I was in a completely different state for a world meet, and I had to go to the ER because that's how bad the weight cutting was. And then not to mention bodybuilding, dieting from 205 or 210, whatever I was, all the way down to 163 to spend an hour, maybe 30 minutes total on a stage in front of a crowd full of people. I had to diet down for 7 or 8 or 9 months to do that. I mean, that's a lot of stress on the body. And that's really where I think all this started to develop for me, was just so much central nervous system fatigue. And there was always ramped up to 1,000 RPMs and never really knew how to bring it down. I did meditate for a long time, twice a day, 20 minutes a day. That's not enough for the demands that I was putting on my body at the time. On top of that, pre-workouts were way different. And I hate to say it like this because it makes me sound like a druggie, which I'm not at all. But, we were abusing the fuck out of pre-workouts back then. We didn't have the information, dude. You guys have all the information now. We have all the information now. We didn't have that kind of information. And the other side of that coin is pre-workouts back then were way different than they are now. They were filled with amphetamines and they were just very stemmed out. Lots of caffeine. I'm talking like 200-300 milligrams plus 1,3-dimethylate, which was like the best thing on earth that anybody working out could have ever asked for in a pre-workout. It was a methamphetamine. It was of that family. So abusing stuff like that, central nervous system constantly at 1,000 RPMs, plus that, not knowing how to recover, dieting, it's a lot of demand on the body. And I just didn't know what I was doing at the time because we didn't have the same information. Now, if I would do all that stuff now, I would have much better success probably. And I maybe would not have ended up with this, but at the same time, it doesn't fucking matter if that was the reason or not because I'm dealing with it. So I don't dwell on it, but just to go off of that, CrossFit. Some of you might be like, well, what about CrossFit, right? CrossFit's a little bit different for me because I took my time to really get my fitness up, right? My zone 2 fitness. I trained my heart. I trained my blood pressure system. At least in my opinion, I did all this stuff, right? To a point where I was okay to jump into CrossFit at some point. And then now that I'm in CrossFit, I'm making sure that I eat enough. I don't diet anymore. I don't try to cut weight and do stuff like that. I'm making sure I do all the recovery stuff. I'm talking ice baths, sauna 3 to 4 times a week. I'm stretching. I'm taking time to breathe, meditate. I'm doing all the recovery stuff. So it's a little bit different now. On top of that, everything, all my training is progressive. There's a plan to it. It's not just random and heavy all the time for no reason, So anyway, that's basically it, guys. I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings, but trust me, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You need a plan, though. You need to figure out a plan. Stop using your energy to dwell on why, how, woe is me, boo-hoo, stuff like that. And use that energy to develop a plan or get somebody that can help you to develop a plan, It's so important that you use that energy to produce something good because crying and moping and stuff, it's not going to get you anywhere. So with that, I hope you guys liked the video. Please hit that subscribe button if you are new. Like the video if you did like it. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to talk about coaching, JQ Fit Life. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.